Imagine a place so high, so remote that it feels as though you could reach out and touch the heavens themselves. Here, the earth rises to meet the sky and the clouds drift so close you can almost feel their cool mist on your skin. This is Tibet, often called the rooftop of the world, a land perched on the highest plateau on Earth, surrounded by the towering peaks of the Himalayas. It's a place where the horizon stretches endlessly, and the mountains seem to whisper ancient secrets. The air here is thin, crisp, and pure, making every breath feel like a gift. The sky is an impossibly deep blue, unspoiled by pollution, and the snow-capped mountains stand as silent guardians, watching over the land with a timeless grace. Everywhere you look, colorful prayer flags flutter in the wind, sending blessings and prayers across the valleys and peaks. Each flag carries hopes for peace, compassion, and strength, woven into the very fabric of daily life. For centuries, Tibet has captivated the imagination of travelers and pilgrims alike, with its remote monasteries perched on cliffs and chanting monks whose voices echo through the mountain air at dawn. These sacred places are not just buildings, but living testaments to a spiritual tradition that has endured for generations. The land itself feels sacred, as if every rock, river, and mountain holds a story waiting to be discovered. The rivers flow with a quiet strength, and the boulders seem to have witnessed centuries of history and devotion. Life in Tibet is not easy. The climate is harsh, and the landscape can be unforgiving. Yet, the people here are remarkably resilient. They greet each day with warmth, kindness, and a deep faith that sustains them through every challenge. My journey through Tibet became about so much more than just the breathtaking scenery. It was about forging real connections with the people, sharing stories, laughter, and moments of understanding that transcended language and culture. The Tibetan spirit is genuine and open-hearted. Hospitality here is not just a custom, but a way of life. From the moment you arrive, you are welcomed as a friend, offered tea, and made to feel at home. Their culture is a vibrant tapestry, woven from the threads of Buddhism, ancient customs, and a profound connection to the land. Daily rituals, festivals, and prayers are all expressions of a deep spiritual heritage. The true essence of Tibet reveals itself in the small, everyday moments. A shared story by the fire, a helping hand offered without hesitation, and perhaps most memorably, in the sharing of food. Meals are a time for community, for respect, and for gratitude. Here, eating together is about more than just sustenance. It's a ritual of togetherness, a way to honor guests and strengthen the bonds of family and friendship. In a simple cup of yak butter tea and a handful of roasted barley, known as sampa, I began to understand the heart of Tibet, a place where generosity and tradition are woven into every gesture. This is Tibet, a land where the spirit of the people and the majesty of the landscape come together in a harmony that is both humbling and inspiring. Here, life is lived close to the earth, and every sunrise brings a new sense of wonder and possibility. One cannot speak of Tibet without speaking of the yak, the soul of the high plateau. With its shaggy coat and sturdy build, the yak is perfectly adapted to the harsh climate. For nomads, the yak is a lifeline, providing wool, fuel, and transport. Its milk and butter are essential for survival, rich in nutrients and flavor. The yak is a symbol of strength and resilience, woven into Tibetan folklore and daily life. The bond between people and yaks is one of mutual respect, passed down through generations. From the yak come the two key ingredients of Tibetan cuisine, milk and butter. Yak butter is not just food. It lights monastery lamps and forms the heart of the national drink. This golden butter is a cornerstone of Tibetan identity. Soon, I would discover its unforgettable role in Tibetan hospitality. In Tibet, the act of welcoming a guest begins with a steaming cup of yak butter tea, known locally as po cha. This is not just a simple beverage, but a deeply rooted tradition that has been passed down through generations. The moment you step into a Tibetan home, the aroma of this unique tea fills the air, signaling hospitality and warmth. This is no ordinary tea. It's robust, salty, and nourishing, crafted specifically to sustain people living in the cold, high-altitude environment of the Tibetan plateau. The thick, creamy texture comes from churning strong black tea with rich yak butter and a pinch of salt, creating a drink that is both comforting and energizing. To be offered po cha is to be accepted into the home and heart of a family. It's a gesture that goes beyond words, a silent invitation to share in the household's warmth and daily life. The tea is a social ritual, present at every gathering and life event. Whether it's a wedding, a festival, or a simple family meal, pocha is always at the center, bringing people together and strengthening bonds. Refusing a cup is like refusing friendship. Accepting it, on the other hand, is a sign of respect and gratitude, acknowledging the host's generosity and the importance of the moment. The first taste surprises most visitors, thick, creamy, and earthy, with a rich, buttery flavor that lingers on the tongue. It's unlike any tea you've ever tried, and it takes a moment to appreciate its depth and complexity. It's a drink that speaks of the land and the people's needs. The yaks grazing on the vast grasslands provide the butter, while the tea leaves are carried over mountain passes, making every cup a testament to resilience and resourcefulness. My first cup was in a cozy home, incense curling through the air, and the gentle crackle of a wood stove warming the room. The atmosphere was peaceful, almost sacred, as if time slowed down for this shared ritual. The host poured the tea with practiced grace, each movement deliberate and respectful. As I held the warm bowl in my hands, I felt the sincerity of the gesture, a quiet but powerful welcome. More than a drink, it was a symbol of connection. In that simple exchange, barriers faded, and a sense of belonging took root. In that moment, I experienced the warmth and generosity of the Tibetan spirit. Laughter echoed around the room, and I realized that pocha was more than sustenance. It was a bridge between cultures and hearts. Pocha is a liquid embodiment of welcome, a tradition that turns strangers into friends and homes into havens. It's a taste and a feeling I'll never forget. The memory of that first sip and the kindness that came with it will always stay with me, reminding me of the power of simple rituals to create lasting connections. Making pocha is a ritual passed down through generations. It starts with a brick of black tea, boiled for hours to create a strong, bitter concentrate. The hot tea is poured into a wooden churn, joined by a generous lump of yak butter and a good measure of salt. Churning is vigorous, blending the ingredients into a creamy, frothy liquid. The sound of churning is a comforting rhythm in Tibetan homes. The finished tea is kept warm, ready to be ladled into bowls. Hosts refill guest bowls constantly, a symbol of endless hospitality. Letting a bowl go empty is poor etiquette. This ritual is about more than tea. It's about care and welcome. The process is simple, but the meaning is profound. Every cup served is an invitation to stay and belong. In Tibet, hospitality is limitless. Alongside butter tea, tsampa, roasted barley flour, is the foundation of the Tibetan diet. Barley thrives in the high plateau, making tsampa the bread, rice, and potato of Tibet. It's practical, already cooked. It needs only liquid to become a meal. Tsampa is food for nomads, monks, and villagers alike. Its nutty, slightly sweet flavor comes from roasting, and it's ground into a fine flour. Tsampa is deeply woven into daily and spiritual life. It's offered at shrines, thrown in the air during festivals, and eaten from childhood to old age. For Tibetans, tsampa is a taste of home and a link to their ancestors. It's comfort, nostalgia, and identity in one. To understand Tibet, you must understand tsampa. It's a symbol of resilience and ingenuity. From simple barley, Tibetans have created a food that sustains both body and spirit. The moment finally arrived to bring together the two pillars of Tibetan cuisine, tsampa and butter tea. These humble ingredients, so deeply woven into the fabric of daily life here, hold stories of survival, celebration, and community. I could sense the anticipation in the air, as if I was about to take part in a ritual passed down through generations. Sitting cross-legged on a cushion, I watched as my host, with practiced hands, began to show me the art of mixing tsampa with butter tea. The room was warm, filled with the gentle hum of conversation and the earthy aroma of roasted barley. He poured a generous scoop of barley flour into his bowl, then added a stream of rich, salty butter tea. With a few swift motions, he began to mix it all together, using only his fingers. No spoons, no tools, just the connection between hand and food. The goal, he explained, was to create a dough that was firm and pliable, never sticky. It should hold together easily, yet yield softly to the touch. With a little practice, the flour and tea come together, binding into a small round ball called pie. This is the heart of the meal, meant to be eaten with the fingers, each bite a testament to simplicity and skill. Eating tsampa is an intimate, tactile experience. No utensils, just hands and tradition. The act of shaping and sharing food this way connects you to the people and the land in a way that's hard to describe. My first attempt was awkward and clumsy. The flour stuck to my fingers and my ball fell apart. But my host only smiled, offering gentle encouragement and laughter, making the learning process feel joyful rather than daunting. Gradually, I began to understand the motion, feeling the texture change beneath my hands. There was a rhythm to it, a patience required, and soon I could sense when the dough was just right. The first bite was dense, nutty, and subtly sweet, the flavors of tea and barley blending together in a way that was both new and deeply comforting. It was unlike anything I'd tasted before, yet it felt instantly familiar. Tsampa is more than just food, it's nourishment for both body and soul. Each mouthful is filling and warming, a taste that speaks of the high mountains, the cold winds, and the centuries of tradition that have shaped this land. In that single bite, I felt the authentic spirit of Tibet. It was simple, profound, and unforgettable, a memory I knew I would carry with me long after I left. This is how Tibet welcomes you, one bowl at a time, inviting you to share in its warmth, its history, and its enduring sense of community. Sharing pocha and tsampa builds community in Tibet's vast landscapes. Offering tea and tsampa to a traveler is a promise of safety and fellowship. Preparation is communal. One churns tea, another grinds barley, children watch and learn. Meals are filled with conversation and laughter, reinforcing bonds. In monasteries, monks share these foods, strengthening spiritual brotherhood. Butter not consumed fuels lamps, turning sustenance into spiritual light. Every meal is an act of generosity. Hosts give guests the best they have. This selflessness is at the heart of Tibetan hospitality. Meals nourish both body and social fabric. The belief that caring for others is sacred is lived every day. In every bowl, there's a lesson in humanity. The modern world is reaching Tibet, bringing roads, technology, and new foods. Yet, yak butter tea and tsampa endure, central to Tibetan identity. Even as young people try new things, they start their day with pocha at home. Tsampa remains the food of pilgrims and anyone seeking comfort. These foods are a link to the past, a reminder of who they are. Travelers seek out authentic tastes, helping preserve these traditions. Guest houses proudly serve pocha and tsampa, sharing culture with visitors. The spirit of hospitality remains strong even as times change. Offering tea to a stranger is a timeless gesture. Tibet adapts, but its core values endure. My time in Tibet was more than landscapes and monasteries. It was about the people and their warmth. Hospitality here is a way of life, expressed in a bowl of butter tea and a handful of tsampa. These humble foods are a gateway to understanding Tibet's heart. To know a place, you must taste it and share in its traditions. In Tibet, a simple meal is an unforgettable welcome. The smallest gestures, a warm drink, a smile, hold deep meaning. If you seek ancient cultures and open hearts, journey to Tibet. Accept the tea, try the tsampa, and let the flavors tell their story. The warmth of Tibet is found in its people and their spirit. It's a warmth you'll carry long after you leave. The mountains are waiting, and a cup of welcome is ready.